Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for Euro 2020 Fantasy Premier League. My name is Dan and today I'm going to be revealing, well, I kind of already have revealed, but I'm going to be revealing my final Limitless team for the match day. And here it is in front of you. You can see it. There has been a few little changes since my video yesterday. Thank you so much for all the views and stuff on the video yesterday, by the way. It's absolutely amazing to see... Yeah, I never thought Euro fantasy content would be this popular, but I mean, here we are, and it's absolutely fantastic, and I'm so grateful for all of the new viewers, all of the old viewers. Thank you. It's been it's really awesome to see so many new faces and stuff around the channel. A quick note for members: there is some new emojis for you members. I've added in some Euro Fantasy Legends. Well, I mean, Euro Fantasy Legends so far. So if you are a member of the channel, try out some of those emojis, see what you think, tell me what you think. And of course, if you want to become a member of the channel and get emojis and priority response in the chat and stuff like that, it's 99 pence, less than £1 a month. To join. That's literally the cheapest I could set it to. YouTube won't let me set it any cheaper, but just you can sign up either using the link in my description or there's a join button somewhere. I'm sure you guys will find it. But there you go, guys. Shall we talk? Oh, well, I can see some of the emojis coming in already. I can see them coming in already. Hopefully you guys enjoy them. I think we'll start off by talking about some of the players I picked because some things have changed. So let me talk about the players that I've changed in my team and my kind of justification for it. So we'll start off with the obvious one, which is Mbappe, because I know I spoke a lot about yesterday in my video about the fact that I wasn't going to be having Mbappe. That was kind of before watching the games, really. And I did say, to be fair, you know, I do want to watch the games before I commit to any final decisions, and that's exactly what I've done. So we've got a new member, Mr. Whatsup19. Thank you very much for joining as a member. But yeah, the reason I've gone for Mbappe was basically because of the way I saw Hungary play and the way I saw Mbappe play. So Hungary, I didn't think that they would allow too many chances in behind, but actually, and it's not necessarily that they got caught on the break, but they did get caught by those lofted through balls and kind of through balls a couple of times. So that kind of made me think, okay, maybe this is actually going to be a little bit of a weakness of Hungary's, and they are actually going to be able to be attacked by those quicker players. We saw Ronaldo run free a couple of times, Diogo Jota, he kind of had a couple of opportunities, and also just seeing Mbappe, you know, the speed that he has, seeing him operate in those tight areas. I mean, it's been... I did watch a little bit of the highlights of the friendly games, the warm-up games, but it's been quite a while since I've watched Mbappe properly. And, you know, you kind of do forget how good he really can be in those moments. So, yeah, it kind of just made me think, yeah, you know, it's unlimited budget. There's no real benefit to not spending as much money as I physically can. So that's exactly what I've done. Oh, yeah, someone's just pointed out that I haven't added in my rank. Let me just add that in for you really quickly. I did completely forget about that, to be fair. My overall rank, here we go. I need to try and remember what my rank is. I'm sure it's on my mobile phone somewhere. Let's have a look. My overall rank, guys, is 40599. There we go. There we go. That's sorted. Okay, now you can see my rank. So yeah, we're doing okay. We're doing okay. I'm sure maybe some of you guys saw my video yesterday and saw how I got on exactly. But yeah, the Limitless extravaganza must go on. So let's move on to who else I've brought in. So who else did I bring in? I brought in Perisic as well since the last draft. So I removed Bruno Fernandes and brought in Perisic. It's not that I didn't like the look of Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes, when I put him in my draft, was a little bit of a placeholder because I wanted to get another big player in, and you know, he was probably the biggest midfielder who I had available to bring in, so it kind of just made sense to bring him in no matter what the fixture was. Kind of saw him. I didn't think he played badly, but he certainly, in that Portugal team, he's more of a creative role, and I am looking for a more explosive goal scorer. I think when you've got unlimited budget and you know you've got all of these bench options, you can afford to go for some of the slightly more risky, explosive type players, and that's exactly what I'm trying to go for with Perisic. Perisic, of course, let me put the fixtures on. But Perisic plays the Czech Republic. Oh, actually, it won't let me show the fixtures here, will it? Oh, here it is. Change the fixtures. That's a bit nicer for you guys to see that, I think. So, yeah, Perisic plays against the Czech Republic. Czech Republic against Scotland, I know they won 2-0. But the amount of chances that they gave up to Scotland, it only takes a slightly better finisher. And, you know, Scotland could have won, well, could have scored 2 or 3 goals in that game quite easily. And you put them up against a slightly higher quality opposition like Croatia. And suddenly, I think we're in a situation where Perisic could actually score a couple of goals, could have a couple of opportunities here. I really do think that he could have some opportunities. So that's exactly why I put him in, because he has that explosivity. He's obviously a very attacking player. And hopefully he's going to be able to score a goal or 2. Fingers crossed. And maybe an assist as well. But yeah, there's going to be opportunities against the Czech Republic. They were quite leaky. I did think they were quite leaky. So for that reason, Perisic has come in just as the best, well, one of the best midfielders really in terms of the most attacking midfielders available to us. And I've said before, there's every chance that Perisic could actually play as a forward as well. And if that's the case, then that's going to be quite nice. We do like the sound of that. If he does play it as a forward, it's going to be a huge advantage to all of us. So, who else did I add in? So I think the other guy I added in, well, the other change I made was I took out Lloris and put in Simon, and I took out Trippier and put in Lucas Hernandez. So, all right, I'll start off with what my kind of thinking was there. So my thinking there was that if I'm gonna actually have Lloris as the backup goalkeeper, the safety goalkeeper, then maybe that's a slightly boring way to play. You know, we all know by now that the France versus Hungary game is the big game to be targeting. This is the game we really want to go all in on if we can. So, if you're going all in on a fixture, to go for a goalkeeper, a safety goalkeeper, you're not really maximising what you can get from that game. I don't think France will be forced into too many saves. So, yeah, I'm not really fully convinced that was the right way to go. When you bring on someone like Lucas Hernandez, we kind of saw in that game how attacking he was. And a lot of people are kind of, you know, have been saying for the last week or so, Lucas Hernandez versus Pavard. Hernandez versus Pavard, which is the one to go for? In my mind, it's always been Hernandez, because Hernandez is the guy who gets forward and Pavard is the guy who stays back. You know, in the modern day 4 at the back formations, usually you'll have one fullback which pushes forward and one fullback that stays back a little bit more, and the one that pushes forward is Hernandez. So for that reason, it's a very easy, straightforward choice. I know a lot of people remember Pavard for his goal. Was it in a World Cup? I think it was in the World Cup a couple of years ago, and people remember Pavard for that and think, okay, that's who Pavard is. Pavard, obviously, he scored an absolute worldie, but I don't think he's a particularly attacking player. Just got a super chat here, so I'm just going to break for a second. Isan, thank you very much for the super chat. Says, thoughts on Ziuba and Mario Fernandes, worth it? I mean, quite possibly. Who do Russia play again? Is it Finland that Russia play? I better just double check on that before I start talking. Let's have a look. Well, let's see if you guys can beat me in the chat before I find out for myself. Yeah, it's Finland. Yeah, so it's difficult. I don't know about Russia defensively, so Mario Fernandes, I don't think I would be going for. Ziuba, on the other hand, I think I could see myself going for Ziuba. I don't even think that's how you say his name. Ziuba, Juba. I'm sure somewhat. Is there any Russians in the chat? Probably not. But yeah, I do think he is a player who is potentially worth going for sure. Definitely. He's definitely was on the watch list of players that I was potentially going to go for. I'd probably be more tempted to go for him if I was on a wild card or if I was just using free transfers. But because I'm on Limitless, I may as well just pick the star players, because even in a difficult fixture, they'll still do the business. And, you know, they haven't got, that's, you know, when you look at the France attackers and, you know, Harry Kane, they haven't got difficult fixtures anyway. So, yeah. So, yeah, definitely worth considering. But I am more tempted to go for, personally, to go for just the mega superstars of the competition if you're on a Limitless chip. But if you fancy a little bit of a risk, a bit of a gamble, then I don't see why you couldn't go for the Russian striker against Finland. It's a good little fixture, so why not? But anyway, sorry guys, I will continue with my thinking on what I'm doing with my team. So yeah, I didn't want to be too negative with going for Lloris. Hernandez has potential for more than just a clean sheet. We've already kind of seen that. You know, he can easily get a clean sheet and a goal, clean sheet and an assist, something like that. So we're going back to, you know, me consistently saying, go for the most attacking fullbacks imaginable. And that's kind of what I've been going for. Arguably the 5 most attacking fullbacks in good teams with good fixtures in the game. That's exactly what I've gone for in my defence. Just completely loaded up on all of them. All of them. So yeah, that brings us to our goalkeepers, and well, I mean, I'll speak briefly on Trippier. Obviously, Trippier is a minor rotation risk. For the record, I do still think Kieran Trippier will start for England. Even if he doesn't start at left back, he will probably start at right back because Kyle Walker didn't have a very good game. So for those of you guys, you really want to put Trippier in your team, you like the look of him for free kicks and stuff like that, and his creativity, yeah, absolutely, go for it. A small consideration is that I do think there's a good chance that Scotland score just because they'll be very attacking, very up for this game. They've got to win this game. Scotland lost their first game. They're playing a big rival in England. They're not going to sit back. They are going to go for this game, and it wouldn't surprise me if Scotland did nick a goal from this game. They have to. They have to do it. They really do. Particularly if they go down. You know, so yeah, that was another minor thing. And Trippier, although I like him for set pieces, I don't think he's massively attacking. When you compare Trippier to Spinazzola, Meunier, Dumfries, Hernandez, Alba, Trippier is not quite as attacking as those guys. So that was the thinking there. And then for Unai Simon as my goalkeeper, my safety pick, really, I would say that when I was kind of looking at some clean sheet odds, it looks like Unai Simon has got pretty much the same chance of a clean sheet as Lloris anyway, with the possibility of a few more save points, potentially. So I do think that Spain and Simon are a really good shout for a clean sheet this match day. So for that reason, Simon is a pretty good safety pick. Pretty good safety pick for a backup goalkeeper if Olsen doesn't go to plan and pick up all of his millions of save points, which I'm kind of hoping for. So there we go. There we go. Guys, by the way, I know a lot of you guys have got questions. Just to, I know there is going to be a lot of questions. A lot of questions will be similar, and people will be saying things like, who would you go for, Dan? Would you go for Mbappe or would you go for Lukaku? I've got Mbappe in my team, and I haven't got Lukaku in my team. So that answers your question. I can go into more detail on these things, obviously, but if you're just asking like a straight question, would you go for Mbappe or Lukaku? Well, you can see on screen that I've gone for Mbappe over Lukaku, so I do prefer Mbappe. If you want to know, would you go for Trippier or Alba? Well, Alba's in my team. Would you go for, Lorenzo Insigne or Kevin De Bruyne, for example? It's on screen for you, so hopefully that's, if you've just got those quick little questions, hopefully that can help you out in that way. If you want more detail, obviously I will absolutely more than happy to go into more detail for you guys. There's a few people who have reminded me in the stream, Offcourt in particular has reminded me. Guys, if you could like the stream, I would really massively appreciate that. I don't know how many of you guys are in here. I don't know how many likes we've got. I'm on a one screen system. Wow, 1,200 of you. So that's awesome. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining me. I think we could easily get to 500 likes by the end of the stream, so that would be awesome if we could do that, and we'll just build towards it slowly. If you guys can like get me to 250 for now, I'd be pretty happy. And of course, subscribe if you're new around here. Subscribe, I love that. So Sylvester Pies there, for example, said Griezmann or Lukaku. Well, look at my team, Sylvester. I've got your answer for you right there already. So there you go. I've gone for Griezmann. But, I'm not saying Lukaku's a bad shout. In fact, I think Lukaku's a very good shout. I would not blame you at all if you wanted to go for Lukaku. Lukaku's in great form. Belgium look really good going forward. In many parts, there's no right answer, and you can't have everyone. If I could have Lukaku in my team as well, I definitely would. But unfortunately, I can't, and I do prefer Kane, Mbappe, and Griezmann for this game week. So, Nathania, thank you very much for the super chat. Very, very generous super chat there. Thank you so much, my friend. What about Zinchenko? Yeah, Zinchenko I do like, because North Macedonia actually looked a little bit more disappointing. And I do like an underdog story, and I was kind of hoping for a little bit more from North Macedonia, but they didn't really impress me too much. And that was in a fairly easy fixture against Austria. Ukraine is also technically a fairly easy fixture, I guess, but North Macedonia just didn't create enough. They didn't create enough. They didn't look like scoring enough. And North Macedonia and Ukraine, although Ukraine, I do really think that Ukraine are not the best defence in the competition. I think they are definitely one of the weaker defences in the competition, and that would be my only stipulation. If North Macedonia are going to score against anyone in the competition, who do you think that anyone is going to be? Who do you think that team is that North Macedonia have a chance of scoring against? Now, in their group, in North Macedonia's group, if I had to bet on the one team that they would score against, then for me, it would be Ukraine. So for that reason, I'm not obviously I understand the benefits of going for Zinchenko, defender, playing in midfield, possibly playing on in the left of midfield as well. If the Ukraine left midfielder is injured, yeah, there's potential for a clean sheet and potential goal returns as well, which is very, very nice. But is there more potential with Zinchenko than there is with Jordi Alba, with Lucas Hernandez, with Spinazzola, with Meunier? I would say the players that I have, I think edge Zinchenko slightly. But that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with going for Zinchenko. Like I say, you can't have everyone. You really can't have everyone, and Zinchenko is definitely higher up on the list of defenders that I would want to have in my team. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with picking him. Absolutely nothing wrong with picking him at all. Jack Jones says Butter Gang is back again. I still have no idea what this means. Do you just go around donating to people saying that? Well, have fun. Joseph Fallon says, missing those big Russia differentials. Yeah, no Russian players in my team. We've kind of touched on Zuba before. I don't know who else you would want to go for the Russia team. I've got the Russian players on the side there. Golovin is obviously one of the stars of that team. I don't know. Russia kind of worried me a little bit. I do think if I was going to go for anyone, it would be a forward, Zuba. But at the same time, the forward places are at such a premium right now. You've got 3 forward spaces, I guess, and so many players that you want to have there. Mbappe, Griezmann, Kane, Lukaku, Benzema, Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, how can we prioritize a Russian striker despite the fixture ahead of Mbappe or the French strikers, who all have a fixture that is pretty much just as good? Dan Cross says, think Finland could get a result, to be honest. Almost got 0-0 written all over it. Maybe. I mean, Teemu Pukki, remember, has had an incredible form for Finland. He's scoring pretty much a goal per game on average for Finland. And Russia didn't exactly come out smelling of roses from the first game, did they? They had a pretty heavy loss. So for that reason, are Finland going to say, okay, right, if we're going to get anywhere in this competition, is it going to be getting a result against Finland? Against Russia, sorry. Very, very possibly. So that's the reason I'm not going for not really interested in Russian defenders. Like I said, if you're on a budget, Zuba is nice. But if you're not on a budget, why not just go Mbappe, Kane, Griezmann, Benzema, Lukaku, all of the big guns? Why not? You know? That's kind of what I'm thinking anyway. Mr. Wazup says, loving the consistent content. Thank you, I'm glad you like it. James Craig here says, I have Pogba in my team. I had a good game against Germany. Good option. I mean, in terms of midfielders, he's not bad. I just think it depends. If you're on Limitless, I'm losing my voice here because I'm shouting. If you're on Limitless, then why not just spend the big money, you know? Why not spend the big money? Mbappe, Griezmann, Benzema, the big guns in defence, Lucas Hernandez, the big gun in goal, Lloris. I'm not saying Pogba's a bad option, but Pogba's role in the team is very much a creative role. And creating goals obviously does get you some points. But if you want to get the big points, it's all about picking out those goal scorers. And picking out the goal scorers is more difficult in defence. It's obviously very easy in the forward positions. In midfield, I think there are players who regularly shoot, who regularly are looking for those goals. I think my 5 in midfield there are typically goal-scoring midfielders. A lot of them aren't really midfielders. They're really wingers, aren't they, really? With the exception of Wijnaldum. They are wingers. But I get it. I get why you would go for Pogba. It's just that who does that mean you're sacrificing? Are you sacrificing Mbappe? Are you sacrificing Griezmann? Are you sacrificing Lucas Hernandez? Lloris? I don't know. It's okay. But yeah, it's okay. Badri says, the GOAT 85 points this week. Oh, nice one. That's very, very impressive indeed. Very impressive indeed. Yeah, again, people are saying, you know, Lukaku or Ronaldo, Lukaku or Kane. Look at my team. The forwards I've got is Mbappe, Kane and Griezmann for good reason. For very good reason. So that's why I've gone for the players in front. People are really losing their minds that there's no Lukaku. Denmark, historically, I mean, have not been a bad defence, you know. And I don't know what the mood is like in the Denmark camp. I don't really want to talk about it too much, if I'm honest. But Denmark, going back for the last year, have been a very strong defensive team. They kind of keeping clean sheets 2 out of 3 of their games in you know, qualifiers, nation leagues, friendlies. They're like a 2 out of 3 games clean sheet. And I know this is harder games, but this is not a team that you can just roll over and score a lot of goals against. Unlike Hungary, unlike Scotland, who are teams you can just roll over. And is Lukaku that much better than a Kane, a Mbappe, a Griezmann in terms of the quality of the player? I don't know. I do like Lukaku. I do like him, but you know, the way people, a lot of us are kind of talking about him is that he's an absolute must-have. I don't think Lukaku is an absolute must-have. So the fact that there's no Lukaku, I think is okay. If you want to have Lukaku in your team, absolutely fine. I don't think I need him, but he definitely would be my, I guess, one of my top choices for forwards. It's just that I can't fit him in, unfortunately. If I could fit him in, I absolutely would. Sacrifices have to be made somewhere, and I think it's okay to make sacrifices. You know, you can say that we're overlooking pretty much any striker, but at the end of the day, you can't have every striker, can you? There's so many strikers I'd love to have, but I can only have 3, you know? Pick your 3 favourite. Who are your 3 favourites? Daniel Sheeran came in with a super chat saying Lukaku and a French striker or 2 French strikers. So back on the topic of strikers. I mean, if I was to do anything differently, maybe I would sacrifice Griezmann for Lukaku, potentially. It's tough. So if you want to do Lukaku and Mbappe up top, then that's pretty awesome, obviously. But I just about, and it is very close. It is very close. I'm not saying I never even considered Lukaku. I don't want you to get that impression. I love Lukaku. I wish I could have him on my team, but I can't. It just edged me to go for the 2 French strikers. So Daniel Sheeran, since that's what I'm doing myself, I will stick by my words, and that's what I am going to say. Go for the 2 French strikers. So yeah, can we stop talking about Lukaku now? There we go. So, what have we got here? Yeah, a few people actually asking about what I'm doing. Why am I going for Limitless? And that came up with it in the comments a few times. Why am I going for Limitless now? I will quickly run through it. I did mean to cover this in yesterday's video, but the video just got too long, so I just decided to skip over it. But the reason why I'm going for Limitless now is because in the group stages, this is the best opportunity to get points. Because all the strong teams play all the weaker teams in the group stages. As soon as we get to the knockout stages, a lot of the weaker teams get knocked out. And even if the weaker teams have been knocked out, they're kind of weaker teams that must be on good form, right? So the group stages is where all the big teams play all the small teams. So we want to capitalise by going for as many big players as possible against as many small teams as possible. And the Limitless chip allows you to do that. So then people say, okay, why don't you use it in Matchday 3? Because Matchday 3, on paper, actually looks like it could be a better option for Limitless. There are more big players playing against small teams. Just slightly, but in Matchday 3, there's more big players playing against small teams. And the reason why, for me, you should avoid doing a Limitless in Matchday 3 is because of the rotation. Now, teams who have qualified for the next stage of the Euros, teams who have won their first 2 games, and that's going to be like teams like France, it's going to be teams like, probably England, probably Spain, probably, maybe Belgium, maybe Netherlands, teams like that. If they win their first 2 games, they know they've qualified for the next round of the Euros, for the knockout stages, there will be unprecedented rotation. I'm talking 6, 7, 8 first team players dropped to the bench because they don't need to play those players. With the group stage ending and the knockout stage so close after the group stage, the third match day of the group stage presents an excellent opportunity for these international teams to rest some of their players, rotate some of their players, give some players a break, return some players to fitness, give some players a chance to see how they do, really mix things up. And if there's a lot of mixing up, that means a lot of our big, strong players will be dropping to the bench. We could see Mbappe come out the team. We could see Cristiano Ronaldo get a rest. Kane get a rest. Anyone. No one's safe kind of thing. That's kind of my point. No one in every team, no one is safe in Matchday 3. It's going to cause a lot of problems. It's going to cause a lot of headaches. A lot of us are going to be very frustrated. And it is going to be, to a large degree, the luck of the draw. But at the same time, I will try and help you guys with this. But we are going to try and predict who is going to be rotating, who is going to be resting, which teams are going to, decide, okay, we can take it easy Matchday 3. So that's kind of the thinking there. And hopefully that makes a little bit of sense to you guys as well. Salah Al-Jandali has just raised an excellent question, which I'm more than happy to answer, is why is Insigne not captain? Because I have gone for Spinazzola captain, and let me tell you for why. Because this is a tactic I probably should have adopted in Matchday 1, but it didn't really present itself to me until I'd actually, got involved in the first Matchday. And it occurred to me that the way this game works, with you able to flip your captain to the next player, you can go for very risky, high risk, high reward captains early on in the game week, or the match day, sorry, and then rely on your safety picks later on. So, for example, what I'm going to be doing, there's 4 days of fixtures in this match day. First day, we've got Italy. Spinazzola against Switzerland. High risk. If he loses his clean sheet, I'm not getting anything. If he doesn't get a goal contribution, I'm not getting anything. But if Spinazzola gets a clean sheet and a goal return, or maybe even 2 goal returns, we saw the way he played in the first game. It is feasibly possible. I'm not saying it's likely, but it's feasibly possible for Spinazzola to go out there and get similar points totals to, what Meunier got, what Dumfries got. We saw some huge scores from some defenders, didn't we? And Spinazzola is capable of a huge score like that. He got 9 points in the first match day. So who's to say he can't knock out a 12-pointer, a 13-pointer, a 14-pointer? It's possible. It's really possible. It's not likely. But it doesn't matter that it's not likely, because the next day, we go for the exact same tactic again. We go Thomas Meunier, the exact same tactic, hoping that he can get a clean sheet and a couple of goal returns. Is it likely? No, it's not likely. But it's possible. And then at that point, we say, okay, we've had our risks. Maybe they came off, maybe they didn't. If they came off, brilliant, we're done. If they didn't come off, they're sitting on 6, 7, 8 points. We're not quite happy with their returns. Then we move on to the safety picks. We've got Harry Kane against Scotland. We've got Mbappe against Hungary. And then you've got those safety picks to finish off the week in safety, So that's the thinking there. That's the benefit of the rotating captain rule, is you can take a risk early on, and then later on you can just settle with the safety picks. We had Ronaldo all last week. I wish I'd picked up on this earlier, because I could have gone for some riskier picks earlier on in the week, knowing for a fact that I had Ronaldo to fall back on. Maybe a few people benefited from thinking of that as a tactic a little bit before me. Not sure, but maybe. Is there any other members there chatting? Sylvester Pye says, what do you think about Depay? Was it a bad day versus Ukraine? I don't think so. I think he played pretty well, actually. He was unlucky not to get something out of that game, and I do think he could easily get something in the next game against Austria. But, he's fitting in all these strikers. It's so hard. Darren Wakefield says, don't you think having 2 French forwards, that it gives you a headache if you need one for your captain? No, I don't think so. You just go for Mbappe, don't you? I think that's the sensible one. So, yeah. Jack Jones says, check Insta DM for Buttergang explanations. Okay, well, I'll do that in a bit. People still talking about Lukaku. Yeah, you can't have everyone. Of course, says Pavard, doubtful. Sell, avoid. Fair enough. Get rid of him. Get in Lucas Hernandez. Easy switch there. I prefer Hernandez anyway, to be honest, so that's no problem at all. Someone here says Yaremchuk is better than Mbappe. Brave if you're going for that, but fair enough if you fancy it. What about Hazard? Not 100% sure if Hazard is going to come back immediately. I mean, I think he is likely to start, but he usually, when he comes back from injury, or when he has been coming back from injury recently, particularly with Real Madrid, he's come back really slowly. He's not kind of exploded back onto the scene or anything like that. So even if he is back, is he going to be the Eden Hazard that we want him to be? Probably not. Adam Pearce says, hello mate, Russian defence being slept on? Probably not. I don't think so. I think Finland could get something out of this game potentially. There's far safer defenders to go for than that, I would say. Russia's defence didn't exactly fill us with confidence in the first game. So, Molly H says, Dan, do you think Foden will start? Is a good shout for Limitless. It's not a bad shout by any stretch of the imagination. It's definitely a pretty good shout. I do prefer Sterling. I think Sterling is far more likely to start than Foden. Although, for the record, I do think both Sterling and Foden will start. It'd be Sterling on the left again, Foden on the right. That just kind of works, I think. So Foden is a good shout, but I think I do prefer Sterling. If you're on a Limitless, money's no object. It's no problem. You can go for Sterling. Someone says, is this your final team? Yeah, this should be my final team. I mean, I've got, obviously there's 26 minutes till deadline, but I don't think I'm going to be making any more changes. I'm pretty happy with where I am at the moment, to be honest. If I make any change, the only player I'm not 100 million % confident in is Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum is the one I'm not completely confident in. I don't really know who I would swap him out for, though, because no one really stands out. I mean, I'll show you what other midfielders are on offer, but no one really... No one wows me, I would say. Let's just sort by popularity. Yeah, okay. Maybe we won't sort by popularity because that's just giving up a load of Kantes and Nagos. So, yeah, okay. In terms of other expensive midfielders, you've got Bruno Fernandes, who, yeah, I've spoken about already. Kevin De Bruyne, who is not 100% ready. Eden Hazard, who I don't think he's going to explode back into the scene. You've got Gareth Bale versus Turkey. I don't think Turkey are quite as bad as that first game made them out to be. And I don't think Wales looked too hot either in their first game. Kingsley Coman's not going to start for France. I don't think so anyway. Jadon Sancho's not going to start for England. Serge Gnabry is playing against Portugal, which could be a kind of a tricky game. I think Portugal will sit back and defend deep. Sane, similar situation. Havertz, similar situation. Eriksen obviously is unavailable. Yamalenko is in already. Good game against Macedonia. Jota against Germany. I thought Germany defended quite well, to be fair. João Felix probably won't even start. Bernardo Silva not quite attacking enough for me. Ramsey not really interested. Pogba, don't want to go for him really because of my triple up already. Modric, not better than Perisic, is he, in terms of attacking? And then we've got Insigne already. Çalhanoğlu is, you know, he's okay, I guess. But I still prefer Wijnaldum. So, you know, where do I go? Ferran Torres is okay. That's actually not a bad shout. So maybe Ferran Torres could swap out for Wijnaldum, but other than that, you know, no one's really standing out to me too much. Ferran Torres is a consideration, I guess. Why Perisic? Because the Czech Republic looked very, very leaky. You know, they've conceded a lot of chances against Scotland, and I think Perisic is a much higher quality in terms of forward than anything Scotland have, and will finish off those chances. Given the opportunity. What do you think about Koke? He had a lot of chances versus Sweden. Yes, he did, to be fair, which kind of surprised me. He was doing those sort of nice late runs into the box, wasn't he? But Ferran Torres is kind of yeah, I think a little bit better, because he does play in that far more advanced position. He was playing essentially as a striker at one point, wasn't he? So he is much more attacking there. But I don't know. I feel like maybe, you know what? No, I really would consider Ferran Torres in for Wijnaldum. It's really a kind of a coin toss in that sense. I think I'd kick myself if I changed it now and it didn't pay off, to be honest. So, FPL Giant says, which position does Yamalenko play for Ukraine? Kind of like right wing, I guess. Typically. Kind of maybe like a second striker in a way. But he's quite free roaming. Well, he was quite free roaming in that last game anyway, which was interesting. Which may be where the confusion is, to be honest. I think I'm lagging a little bit here. Extreme Dubai says Mbappe, Lukaku, Mapilo, Malinovsky, Mount, Insigne, Hernandez. You just listen to the whole team. Yeah, he's good. Should I go with double French attack or go with Kane? Hey, why not both? I've gone for both. It can be done. I think I've spoken about Perisic enough by now. Of course, says Dan, swap Wijnaldum for Forsberg, the Swedish Lingard. Who does Sweden play this match day? I actually have this. That's actually one fixture that I didn't look at. Forsberg is 7 million, right? Let's go down a bit lower and find where the Swedish players. I think they've got a good fixture if I remember correctly. Well, I can't remember. Is it Slovakia? It is Slovakia. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I actually don't think Slovakia are that bad defensively. Like, my concern with Slovakia has always been, where are the goals going to come from? And fair enough, they did score against Poland. But, yeah, it was Skriniar, wasn't it? But defensively, I don't really mind Slovakia that much. I don't. They've got a good old defense. Well, not a bad defense there. They've got Dubravka in goal, obviously very good goalkeeper. They've got Skriniar. They're okay. They've got I can't remember who the name of their defensive midfielder is, but he's pretty good as well. So yeah, I wouldn't say that Slovakia are a weak defensive team, which is why I'd be a little bit hesitant about targeting them. I know probably a few people wanted to target them in the first game, but people went for Lewandowski, didn't they? I think what put me off about Lewandowski and why Lewandowski was never in any of my drafts is because he obviously hasn't got that brilliant team around him. I know it's very easy for me to say this in hindsight. He hasn't got the brilliant team around him, but Slovakia also are not whipping boys, really. I don't see them as whipping boys. Obviously, they're one of the weaker teams in the tournament, has to be said, but they're not whipping boys, I don't think. Sandberg says Wijnaldum was very offensive. Keep him. Yeah, he surprised me, which is why he's in my team. I probably am going to keep him. I do see. You know, if I was going to swap him for anyone, it would be Ferran Torres. So yeah, V Maple says why Mbappe, why Griezmann over Mbappe. I've got both. Giuseppe Capuano says thoughts on double Ukraine midfield in Yamalenko and Malinovsky. Yeah, why not? Yeah, nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Nothing wrong with that at all. You know, you may as well target North Macedonia. We saw, you know, Ukraine were pretty decent in attack. What they were lacking in defence, they made up for in attack, and yeah, obviously North Macedonia did struggle against Austria, which is a team that is not an amazing attacking team. So yeah. Yeah. So go 3-4-2. So, no, Lukaku's not coming in. I'm happy to go Lukaku-less for this game. Dan Cross says Sweden, Slovakia liking another 0-0. To be honest, Slovakia need a point to be through. Basically, yeah. No, I completely agree. I really do agree with that. Sweden, Slovakia has got 0-0 written all over it. Sweden were pretty negative and in that first game against Spain, and I know it was against Spain, but this isn't the Spain of old days, is it? I do think Sweden tried to get on the ball a little bit more and played a little bit more positively and aggressively than they might have been able to get something out of that game. But they seem to want to set up a little bit more negatively. So Slovakia, good defence, happy to sit back. Yeah, but yeah, I mean this is part of the reason why I want Olsen. I think Slovakia. I think Slovakia are content with a 0-0. I think that Sweden will probably. I don't know. Are they going to let Slovakia have a load of the ball again? Is that their tactic? I think they had something like 13% possession against Spain. It's ridiculous. Are they going to let the other team have a lot of the ball, take pot shots, just sit back and let the other team take long-range shots, in which case Olsen's going to mop up some save points? That's kind of my hope from that game, you know. Oh, I can't believe the Lukaku chat is still here. Look, you can't have everyone. If I could have Lukaku, I would. It's just every third message is, where's Lukaku? Where's Lukaku? I'm not. It's fine. You don't. Not everyone has to have Lukaku. You can only have 3 strikers. Or should I just put Lukaku in just so everyone shuts up? In fact, I might just put him in and then just not confirm the transfer, so people stop asking why there's no Lukaku. I mean, I'll speak about it one more time. But honestly, guys, after this, I'm not talking about Lukaku again because people who have been in the stream for a little bit longer are probably bored of me talking about Lukaku by now. Quick super chat here from Shakalaka Mekaleka, one of the best ever names in the streams. I know you've commented before, Shakalaka Mekaleka, because how could I forget that name? Would you use your Limitless if only three players knew from matchday 1? Oh, right. I see what you're saying. Oh no, in that case, no. If you're only going to change 3 players from matchday 1, then no, don't bother with your Limitless. No, there's no point. If you're really that happy with your team, then there you go. Okay, one more time with the Lukaku Chatu, because I'm pretty sure you guys are just trolling me by this point. So the reason I've gone for Lukaku is because I think Denmark historically do have a good defence. Over the last year or two, they have been pretty strong in defence, and it's been kind of impressive to see them, you know, defend quite well. So I don't think they're going to be completely rolled over in this game. I don't know what their motivation situation is like in the Denmark camp. Like I said earlier, I don't really want to talk about that if I'm honest. But yes, Lukaku is brilliant. Do I back Lukaku to score a goal in this game? Yes, I do. I think he'll score 1 in the game against Denmark. But I'm looking for a little bit more than that, to be honest. And when we're talking about Lukaku, obviously a great striker. Is Lukaku better than that much better than Mbappe? Is Lukaku that much better than Harry Kane? Is he that much better than Griezmann at international level? No. You probably say, to be fair, that Kane, Mbappe, and Griezmann are all better strikers in the well, maybe not Griezmann, but Mbappe and Kane, you would say, are better forwards than Lukaku, and they also have the advantage of a stronger fixture. Hungary is a much better fixture than Denmark. Scotland is a much better fixture than Denmark. So we've got two forwards who have roughly the same quality, maybe a little bit more. Well, they have more quality. It's just about how they are within their international teams and how likely they are to score within their international teams. But in that respect, Mbappe, Kane, and Griezmann pretty much level with Lukaku, if not slightly better. And they also have easier fixtures. And I think that's the point. England versus Scotland, going to be a hugely open game. Mbappe, Griezmann against Hungary, just lost 3-0 to Portugal. Could have scored more earlier on in the game, you know. France, obviously the best team in world football. So they're going to do even more damage to Hungary than Portugal did, you would say. Griezmann on the set pieces and stuff, free kicks, you know, there's going to be huge opportunities there. So with Lukaku, yes, he could score 1 goal. He could absolutely maximum score 2 goals in the game against Denmark. I can't really see it being too much more than that, unless Denmark have just given up on the tournament, which that could be their mentality there. If you think Denmark have just given up on the tournament, they're not interested anymore, they just want to go home, then fair enough, go for Lukaku. But Mbappe, Kane, and Griezmann are really not that much. It shouldn't be shocking to you that I'm going for these players over Lukaku. It's really not that much of a big deal. Like I have always kind of said throughout this entire stream, I've got no problem with Lukaku. He's probably my 4th or 5th favourite striker. And I would rather have Lukaku. If I could sacrifice a midfielder and bring Lukaku in instead, I would absolutely do that. But it's not a possibility. You can only have 3 strikers, and Lukaku, unfortunately, just about very, very close, but he didn't make the cut. So there you go. Hopefully that clears that one up once and for all. We can talk about some other players. There you go. So, what else have we got? Actually, I should probably remind you guys to like the stream if you can. How well are we doing on likes at the moment? Don't know if I can actually see or not. We got 300 and something. Yeah, let's push up to 500 likes. That would be awesome, guys. There's 2,500 of you viewing right now, which is just incredible, by the way. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I appreciate it to no end. It's just amazing. It really is amazing. But yeah, if you guys could like the stream whilst you're here, if you guys want to subscribe, if you're new around here, you want regular fantasy tips, then hopefully I can help you guys out to the best of my ability, for sure. I would really, really appreciate that. So Diego Ortiz says Trippier for Alaba. Alba, not Alaba, just Alba. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely it's something you could do if you wanted to do that. I think that Alba has a slightly better chance of a clean sheet, and is a slightly more attacking player. He is objectively a more attacking player from open play, and he has more attacking quality in his locker, probably. Yeah, and he'll have more freedom and more license to get forward. He's also far more nailed on than Trippier. So it's not that I think Trippier's a bad pick. I think Trippier's got a fairly decent chance of a clean sheet against Scotland. He's obviously on set pieces as well. So Trippier is a very good shout indeed. And he was in my draft yesterday. But I did decide to drop him in the end, because I do think players like Alba and Hernandez just slightly edge him. Someone asked, why did I drop Lloris? Pretty much just because I thought it was a bit of a waste of one of my French slots, to be honest. Who's Spain's goalkeeper? It's Unai Simon, who is on my bench there. I'm not doing quick-fire questions, but I'll do some quick-fire-ish answers now. Wijnaldum or Golovin? I've gone for Wijnaldum, so hopefully that answers your question. Is Simon, the Spanish goalkeeper, nailed on? He should be by this point. I would have thought so. You know, this is still an important game for Spain. Come to match day 3, and I think there might be some rotation. But not this time. Gnabry or Wijnaldum, what do you think, mate? In this game, I prefer Wijnaldum. I think Portugal will defend deep. And maybe cause some problems for Germany. I'm not going to talk about... a few people asking about my captaincy. I'm not going to talk about it too much, but what I will say is, because you can swap it every day, I'm kind of going for risky picks early on in the week to try and get the high risk, high reward. And if it doesn't pay off, which in all likeliness it won't pay off, we've got the safety picks of Harry Kane and Kylian Mbappe later on in the week as well. Why choose Alba over Zinchenko? In my opinion, they have the same playstyle, but Ukraine has a better chance of getting clean sheet. I don't agree. I think I don't necessarily agree that Spain have that the Ukraine have the better chance of a clean sheet, because I don't particularly think Ukraine are a particularly good defence, and I do think Spain are a good defence. I'm not saying there's a huge amount in it, and I do agree that Zinchenko is a very good shout. I do think it's a very good shout. I don't think there's a huge amount in it, but I don't think it's very obvious to say, you know, Ukraine have a better chance of a clean sheet than Spain. I don't think I agree with that. Obviously, it's all down to personal opinions, guys. I'm not asking anyone to hang on my every word. You know, you guys have got to do you at the end of the day, and you know, just see what you can do. And if you have a gut feeling about something, and you really think, you know, something you really want to do, and it's different to what I'm saying, you can. It's fine to say, Dan, I think you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. I'd rather do things my way. That's completely cool, and I advise you guys to do that. You got to play your own game at the end of the day, because there's no real fun in just copying someone else's team, is there? There's no fun to that. So yeah, go with your own decisions and stuff. I'm just here to kind of guide you and let you know my way of thinking, maybe a little bit about tactics, a little bit what I think about the players and how I think the player is going to play, and what I think of the opposition and stuff like that. I'll just give you very rough guidance, and then from there, you guys could go ahead and make your own decisions based on whatever I've said. Whether you rate what I've said or not, absolutely fine. But yeah. You go for it, guys. You go for it. Kev is going to start Dan and get him in. I don't know if he will, to be honest, Danny Mac. I don't know if he will. I think he's going to start on the bench and come on for the second half, maybe. I mean, yeah, he might start, obviously, but I'm far from confident about that. How many points did you get match day 1? I got 74. So pretty good start. It's not like a world-beating start or anything like that. I think I did get a little bit unlucky in some parts. Denier, Wijndal. Obviously, unfortunately, what happened with Eriksen. Sort of some things you just can't predict, can you? And I kind of, yeah. I mean, I'm sure a lot of us found ourselves on the wrong end of some unpredictability, but that's all part of the fun of the game. Would you go for Pogba? No, I wouldn't really. Will Dumfries give full clean sheet points? Not necessarily, but he's a high risk, high reward type player. I've got Lucas Hernandez and Jordi Alba on the bench to cover him, so it's not really a big deal, to be honest. You can afford to, when you're on Limitless, you can afford to go for a few high risk, high reward players and captains and stuff like that. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. Like, I'm going in. I'm not content of like saying, I just want to finish in the top 1% of players. I want to finish if I can, if it's possible. I want to finish literally in the top few thousand players in the world. That's kind of the goal. And I'm going to need a lot of luck to do that, but I'm also going to need to be aggressive and take risks. So yeah, there's always going to be a few risks in my team, and maybe you guys don't want to do it. If you're just looking to win your mini leagues, just want to beat your mates, then fair enough. Maybe don't go for so many risks. But I'm going for gold here, guys. I want to win the whole game if I can. I don't know if that will happen or not. Probably not. I'm never going to win it, obviously, but it would be nice to be, amongst the best and win my mini leagues as well. And just have a good good morale boosting Euro fantasy year ahead of the Fantasy Premier League year. Ethan Columbell says, I've personally gone with Golovin and Bale instead of Perisic and Wijnaldum. A bit more high risk, high reward. Maybe. I do think Perisic is a high risk, high reward player, to be fair. Wijnaldum, maybe not so much. Nidish Manny says, Depay or Ronaldo in Limitless. Finland goalkeeper is fine. I mean, no, if you're on Limitless, just buy the most expensive goalkeeper you possibly can. There's no real need to go for the Finland goalkeeper. He's not going to save another penalty this game. Well, I mean, he might, but it's pretty unlikely. It's not like he's going to get a penalty save every single game. So, yeah, think about just going for a more expensive goalkeeper, to be honest. In terms of Depay or Ronaldo, to be fair, Ronaldo's not really even entered into the conversation for this match day, really, in terms of Limitless. So I don't really see that you would want to go for Ronaldo. Depay is an okay shout. Obviously, he's a pretty good shout, in fact. But when you've got those French strikers, it's very difficult to look past them, I think. Very difficult to look past them. How do I switch captains in Limitless? You just switch them the same way as you do any other time. Can't remember exactly how you do that. Make sure you save your team and then go on. In fact, I'm going to just wrap up my team here. I know I don't really need to do anything because I've already done my transfers, but we'll just put my team up on screen. Just so you can see the final lineup type thing. Is that lined up nicely on the screen? Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. So yeah, there's the starting lineup. There's the boys. The boys for the week. Super chat missed. Did I miss a super chat? Oh, did I? I'm so sorry. Nihal Kulkarni says Lukaku or Depay. Sorry, Nihal, I didn't mean to miss that. Thank you, whoever was that in the chat who reminded me. Probably Lukaku, to be fair, is slightly above the pecking order. But this is kind of the problem. When there's so many options in strikers, Mbappe, Griezmann, Benzema, Kane, Depay, Lukaku, that Russian striker, the Ukrainian striker, sorry for not saying their names, Yaremchuk is Ukraine, Zyuba is for Russia. I'm just so scared of butchering their names. But when there's so many options, I don't think there is necessarily always a right answer, and there's always going to be a bit of saying, oh, I wish I went for the other one, I wish I went for the other one. You just got to pick three and stick with it. And I think on a Limitless, it gives you an opportunity to just pick the three most expensive ones. Or three of the most expensive ones. So that's exactly what I've done, really. Just gone for some big, expensive players. Because I'm not going to have the opportunity to do this again in the entire tournament. So yeah, that's kind of my thinking on that. But there's no right answer. Lukaku, Depay, both great options. Fantastic options, in fact. And yeah... maybe if I had to, gun to the head, maybe I'd even go for Depay as a bit of a risk. That could be kind of fun. Could be a fun one. Sky says petition to use 4-2-4 this match day. Oh, I would love that. That'd be exactly what we need. Be exactly what we need, guys. We're pretty close to the deadline. In fact, by the time my voice hits you, we probably will be out of the deadline. So I really would consider stop asking questions. Go make sure your team is saved. Your captain's on the right player right now. Because that's going to be the deadline. So, guys, make sure you've sorted that out. There's Finland and Russia lineups that I'll say very quickly, but I don't think it'll be too interesting. Is there anything interesting going on here? Really, not. No, not really. Nothing too interesting with the lineups. So guys, go check out the lineups if you want. I don't imagine too many of you guys will have those teams, but guys, yeah, make sure you're all in the right order. Make sure your captain's set. You're probably maybe late now, but hopefully you guys already sorted it out. But there you go. Alpa says Bale Chooser will cry if he takes 2 points today. Yeah, they will. Lukaku or Kane in forward. I've gone for Kane. Matthew Gilbert says, good luck, everyone. And I absolutely agree with that sentiment. Good luck, everyone, this match day. I hope you all do really well. I'm sure you guys will. Hernandez has come on at half-time every time they're winning. And also, why not Hazard? Well, I mean, it didn't happen last time. Depending on what Hernandez you're talking about. Why did you keep Hernandez? Well, why not? Don't really see the issue. It was fine. Deadline gone. There you go. The deadline is done. Well done, everyone, for choosing your teams, particularly if you guys were on those Limitless chips. Because if you're on a Limitless, this must have been a bit of a nightmare, just as much as it was a bit of a nightmare for me picking those players. Very, very difficult to pick the right players today, hasn't it been? So yeah, guys, yeah, well done for settling in your team, because this is a tricky week to choose players. You know, next week's going to be harder. Don't get me wrong, but it's difficult. So well done, guys. Good luck with your teams. If you've got to go back to work, I imagine a lot of you guys got to go out. I can see Dan Cross has got to go back to work. See you later, guys. If you could smash the like button before you leave, that would be massively appreciated. If you could subscribe to the channel as well before you leave, that would be massively appreciated as well. But aside from that, I've got to go back to work myself. I've got 1.5 months left of the day job before we go YouTube full time. In which case, I won't have to go and we could stream for a little bit longer. But for now, I've got to go, guys. So thank you so much for watching today's stream. Good luck. Have fun. Like the video, subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. See you later, mates. Bye-bye.